following are interview responses of children in the streets of Hamra, selling masks to pay for themselves and their families, one of which is helping to pay for her family after her father had to pay all his savings for his surgery.
احنا حاسين كل شيء بالحياة انه فقيرين. انا بيا اللي عامل حادث دينا له دين لحتى عملنا له عملية. هيا عم نطلع بنشتغل لحتى نأمن حقك لنا. عم نبيع كمامات وما عم بيعملوا لنا شيء وما عم نقدر نلمع. يعني اذا بدنا نروح على البيت اذا بدنا نروح ونيجي يعني بدنا تحط لنا ال50 اجار طرقات واللي عم نلمه من شارع ما عم بيطلع لنا 50-60 الف كمان. ما قادرين انه نفوت مدرسة او شيء لانه رحنا سوريين. نفسيتنا تعبانة.
Dr. Rami Al-Ali is a philosopher in LAU. He teaches existentialism. In his response, he will talk about how children are affected by the parents and how the other, the middle class, sees the poor class. He says the middle and upper class sees the poor in three ways: indifference, hostility, and ignorance.
Just think about the poverty and what it does to the parents. This element, where they can guarantee themselves against the future and so make time for themselves, both in the fact that they don't have to sustain themselves from moment to moment, but also that they don't have to continuously occupy their thoughts with how am I going to survive from moment to moment. So this is the condition of the parents, and so now this child enters into the equation. And even if they love the child and they value the child, they're placed in an epistemic and a psychological and in a physical condition that makes it impossible to manifest that love no matter how idealized you envision it. Their epistemic condition is that, well, they might not know how to go about valuing the child. Even if they know how to value them, they might not know what the right things to do are, what not, how to educate them, how not to educate them, whether hitting them is okay, whether it's not okay. On the other hand, the parents are in a psychologically bad condition. It's not just that they don't know, but they're also stressed out. They're stressed out because they have to learn, they have to worry about surviving from moment to moment, and a child is an extra burden and extra responsibility. As a child, I'm sure that a child can take pleasure in life, with very little, even with very little. But of course, the child is also very sensitive to the condition of the parents, and I think that very quickly they start to internalize the way they're treated by the parents, and they start to understand a little bit about their condition, their social condition. But I think that it doesn't appear as a social condition, it appears as a physical condition. A child doesn't have a sense of its own value by default. It's not like you're born and you think, I'm totally valuable. Kids are afraid of the world, they're insecure, and they have to be guided by adults. And so it's the adults who, encourage them, like the parent encourages the child, and so gives the child the sense of value that you can do it, and so on. Our sense of our own value is not inborn, I think, or at least largely not inborn, but socially constructed. And so now think about the parents' condition and how it will also affect that, because insofar as they fail to value the child internalizes this lack of value.
واحد بيضله بفكر كيف بده يطعم اولاده وكيف بده يشرب اولاده وكيف بده يأمنوا الحياة مع لا يعيشوا لا ياكلوا ويشربوا بس مش أكتر.
Dr. Samira Dabbous is a psychology professor in LAU. She talks about how stress affects the brain of people and children in relation to their parents.
The stressors of the poor class, the dynamics in the family are not always good. The parents are under stress. They have the tendency to be authoritarian. That is, they give orders. They do not allow the child to express their feelings, their decisions, to give their opinions. And again, it builds up. To some extent, they are responsible. There is a saying in Arabic, الفقير فقير بعقله. Because even if when you provide something for the poor, because of the poverty, they believe in immediate gratification. So assume that you give them money, they spend it immediately because they don't know when they are going to get any more money. And this has been documented over and over. At the same time, they don't believe in delayed gratification. But the exceptions always exist. But it requires a solid family. If the dynamics of the family are good, a poor person can actually climb in the social ladder. It suppresses the environmental stressors and everything else. I'm the mother of a poor family, okay? And I have, let's say, 3, 4 children. And I notice that one of them is smarter than the others. If I make sure that I keep on encouraging this child, I try to support the child in whichever way I can, and I keep on motivating this child, telling him that I know you can make it. Things are hard, but with a lot of effort. And the main thing is to have consistency in the support. And if the child is accepted and feels safe at home, he or she is going to be much better off. The motivation level of the child increases. The child realizes that I have my parents to cover my back, whatever happens. So the child is not afraid of failing and will keep on trying.
I believe that the way to ease stress in the family and therefore ease the stress on the child, facilitate an environment where a child can become more productive than their parents, is to ease the financial stress of the family. In this sense, I call LAU economics and political science students to sign a petition to commit to advocating for unemployment benefits in the Arab world. Sign the petition in the job it is to simply be poor.wordpress.com.